Hey everyone, this is Maria Hart, and today I'm gonna read my very first fanfiction on YouTube, and it's written by WTF. The title is When the Rust Settles In. And don't worry, I asked the author permission. She said it was okay, go for it. But I'm only gonna read chapter 1. So, yeah, let's get started. Heisenberg's appreciation for and annoyance towards Ethan grew by the minute. He had such high hopes when the man had found his way to the factory. It just made sense for the two of them to team up and take down that bitch Miranda. But Daddy Dearest had balked at the idea of using his precious daughter as a weapon and had refused his olive branch. I'm a little bit nervous, so yeah. So Heisenberg had tossed the man down at the soft to run amok in his home. Given how Ethan had torn through the other lords, he only expected the twisted corridors to fill with soldiers to serve as a distraction rather than the Americans' final resting place. It wasn't as though he held any particular ill will towards the other men after all. Ethan was just another victim of Miranda so far as Heisenberg was concerned, and wait, yeah, and he just wanted the other out of his way while he launched his rebellion, since cooperation wasn't on the table. But the man had managed to navigate his way out quicker than anticipated. Even a one-way ticket to the basement level hadn't been enough to keep Ethan away as he rolled out of the factory riding some kind of weaponized tractor. Then Heisenberg saw his decades of planning go up in flames, and he panicked. He didn't have time to waste locking horns with Ethan. He needed to kill Miranda, and he needed to do it before she managed to resurrect her child, or whatever the fuck she was on about. A few metal panels were sent flying towards Ethan, knocking the vehicle over and sending the man sprawling. And with that, Heisenberg went charging towards the ceremony site to put an end to the twisted excuse of his mother once and for all. Only, the final confrontation didn't play out the way Heisenberg had imagined. Without any allies or soldiers, Miranda had thrashed him soundly. She had used the caudal in his chest against him, twisting the parasite to her will and all but destroying him from the inside out. He lay broken and bleeding on the ground as the metal depress, I hope I'm saying that right, fell from his body and he reverted to his natural form. A moment later, and he was slipping unconscious, wondering if this was really how his sorry life was going to end. Ooh. The first thing Heisenberg became aware of is how much pain he was in. It was never pleasant to go through one of his transformation, and getting beaten within an inch of his life hadn't helped matters. He jolted upright as everything flooded back to him. He tried to finish things with Miranda, but it hadn't gone so well. So why was he still alive? Heisenberg guessed that she had been more concerned about the ceremony, but maybe she was just a spiteful bitch and wanted him to suffer more. That didn't seem to matter much right now, though. The black roots of the Megamycete, I hope I'm saying that right, had sprouted all over the place. And was that Ethan? He thought he heard the man muttering something about putting an end to all of this. And there looked to be some kind of device in his hand. Shit! Heisenberg cursed as he staggered to his feet. Everything hurt, but now he could see the heart of the fungal root was looming overhead with what could only be an explosive attached to it. Fuck! He cursed again. Ethan! Heisenberg called out to the man. Wasn't it Ethan's sole purpose to save his daughter? So why the hell was the man suddenly bent on destroying the entire village? Ethan didn't seem to hear him though, and only continued to trudge towards the heart of the Michael's seat. Heisenberg pushed himself to chase after the man, every inch of him screaming in protest. This needs to end, was all Ethan said, even after Heisenberg had caught up and gripped him by the shoulder. It didn't appear that the man was even aware of who was with him. Sure, fine, but maybe we don't have to die here. I can get us to the bomb shelter. Heisenberg yelled back. He didn't even bother to wait for a reply, since it was evident that the younger man wasn't quite all there. The hand at Ethan's shoulder moved to grip the man at the bicep. Instead, as Heisenberg began to drag them both towards the ruins of his factory at the half run. Ethan was dazed yet complacent, perhaps due to the suicidal vacuum he was in. But there was no telling how long that was going to last, and Heisenberg really didn't want to take his chances. He might have possessed extraordinary powers, but a big enough blast would kill him surely as any other living thing. Why Heisenberg was bothering to try and save a person who had thrown a wrench into all of his years of hard work, he had no idea. Maybe it was because he could sense that Miranda was dead and it could have only been Ethan who had done that. There really wasn't time to think about it, though, as a deafening roar sounded behind them. The American must have come back to his senses somewhat and detonated the trigger. Why, you damn little, Heisenberg cursed, but they just about reached the destination. With a flick of his wrist, a metal hatch opened up in the ground and he threw the both of them inside. Metal clenched shut a second later as they both went crashing down the stairs. A pair of heavy metal doors screeched open and then slammed shut as the two men stumbled into the main floor of the bunker. Heisenberg having enough sense to get them as deep into the shelter as they could go. Then everything was violently shaken as the impact of the explosion slammed into the enclosure. Dust rained down upon the men, and the overhead light flickered before shutting off completely as a cacophony, I hope I'm saying that right, sounded all around. Silence followed, broken only by the wheezing and pain gasps made by the both of them. Fucking hell, is it over? Heisenberg grumbled as the light blinked back to life. Eyes glanced over to where Ethan lay crumpled on the floor. The man was still breathing, so that was a good sign, but it looked like he was in much worse shape than had been previously assumed. The older man pushed himself back onto unsteady legs and approached Ethan cautiously. When no reaction was given, he rolled the man onto his back to get a better look at the state he was in. It appeared that Ethan had passed out cold. Maybe it was for the best, since Heisenberg didn't have the strength to deal with one more problem right this instant. He turned and trudged his way towards the exit, forcing the inner bunker doors open as he moved. The stairs had him wincing and gritting his teeth every step of the way, but he made it to the top without his knees buckling from under him. Heisenberg took a steady breath before opening the outer hatch and stepping outside. Outside was a complete wreck. The press from the megamycete, along with the village, had been thrown everywhere, and there were fires burning wherever Heisenberg turned his head. Off in the distance, he could see the shadow of the helicopter as it flew away. Huh. That must have been Chris Redfield making his timely escape after damn near ruining everything. But there was no real hit to Heisenberg's thought. He was still in shock over what had happened. Hell, he wasn't even sure how exactly it had all gone down. There was no more trace of Miranda's presence, though. Of that he was sure. The fridge power that gripped at his inside was completely gone. I'm free. The bitch is finally dead. Heisenberg stood there amid the chaos, overwhelmed by it all. He spent so many years trying to get to this point, and now he didn't know what to do. His old life was shameless, and the world at large was equal parts fascinating and terrifying. Maybe it was better to take things one at a time. Ethan was alive, and Heisenberg was keen on keeping it that way. The man might have rejected his earlier offer, but the death of Miranda was all the apology he needed. That, and he grown to like the younger man. Ooh. Despite how truly fucked up this place was, Ethan had taken it all in stride and managed to succeed where even he had failed. Heisenberg used a sheet of metal scrap to act as an impromptu stretcher for Ethan. The man was still unconscious, and that was good because Heisenberg had no idea where to go from here. One look at his factory told him that it would not be inhabitable anytime soon. Damn it! Where to now? They needed shelter, and there were many options to choose from. The lichens had run rampant through the village and made a mess of everything. The reservoir was just plain disgusting. The Benevento house was full of those creepy-ass dolls. No thanks. It looked like Castle Dimitrescu was mostly intact. Of course it would be. Even in death, that oversized bitch continued to mock him. Heisenberg grit his teeth, wondering if there was anywhere else they could go. But it was starting to rain, and they were going to freeze if they stay outside much longer. And that's the end of chapter 1. Thanks for listening or reading. And guys, please give WT kudos because she worked so hard on this book. It's really amazing. And if you're curious, just go on Chrome and find WT when the rust settles in, and boom, you found a chapter. But please give her some love, credits, and kudos if you are curious to know what happened next. And thanks for watching.